welcome into the season finale of the Friday Night Pigskin presented by Adena Corporation. I'm Brian, this is Travis, and it was kind of a wacky and wild Friday into the Saturday. Crazy weekend, I think, all the way around, especially in our area. Yeah, a lot of games to get to, plenty of scores on the way, lots of highlights too. But now we know, Travis, who's going to be competing for regional championships. There were some ups and some downs throughout the area, basically all night long. And our first bad weather weekend for football. Been so blessed by Mother Nature. But now, you know, Father Winter kind of making his presence known.
Yeah, about 30 hours ago when you and I were walking out of the Nutter Center. Congratulations again, Monroeville, for that state runner-up finish. But when it was snowing, we thought, oh, geez, what's going to happen tonight? And it was not the night for North Central Ohio football squads, except for one, because they played another North Central Ohio football squad. But we had 5 coming into this weekend, now
down to just 1. So let's go ahead and show you the scores from all around the regions that we've been following here on the Friday Night Pigskin and get you up to speed on basically who's in, who's out, and who's going to be competing for a regional championship coming up next weekend. Here we go. We will begin in Division 3. We've got Regions 9 and 10, Trav. So Chardon, actually a little bit of a surprise there. Kenston's been a surprise team. They take on the defending state champs, who I think actually who have won it the last several seasons and just win by a field goal.
So really cool stat for you. Chardon scores on a kickoff return touchdown and a field goal. It's the first time since 1988, the year I was born, 34 years ago, that the Hilltoppers have won without an offensive touchdown, and it comes in a regional semifinal.
Pretty cool stuff right there. Any way that you can get a victory in the playoffs, you are going to take it. Ursuline, they fall to Canfield tonight. Another good game, just a 1 score.
Cardinals quarterback Brock Lowry, 3 rushing touchdowns as they hold off a late Irish surge. They will take on Chardon, 1 versus 2. Possibly. Yeah, they do. They will.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. No, yeah, they will. I was looking at the wrong thing.
Travis.
But they will meet each other next Friday for a regional championship.
So Holy Name and Mansfield Senior, these are the Friday games, of course.
Yeah.
The Tigers lose by just a point. They had all 16 of those in the first half. And special teams matters. A missed PAT ended up to come back and bite Senior High.
Also, something else to bite them. Keontae Bradley, out at the half with a possible concussion, was not able to come back in due to protocol, and that really opened up the door for Holy Name because he was a big player, not only defensively, but he had a big rushing touchdown in that first half as well. With him out, it really just, threw things off for Mansfield Senior, and just a tough way to end, especially some plays towards the end of the game too that just didn't fall their way.
So the Green Wave are going to advance and take on Padua Franciscan, another one of those double-digit seeds and playing for a regional championship coming up next Friday.
Well, they got the running back that could possibly win them a regional championship. Roderick Love giving the love out all night. 24 carries, 368 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Dang, against a Norton squad that came in, I think, as a heavy favorite. All right, let's spin it and check out the other scores from around the area. Moving on to Division 4 in Cleveland, Glenville. Man, these guys are for real. Another running clock, never close, 54-7.
Glenville quarterback Deontay Rucker, 5 total touchdowns. It just seems like a couple years ago, Glenville was playing in Division 1. They're down to Division 4 now, along with a West Holmes squad that we thought had a chance of meeting Glenville. However, West Holmes falling in a game that you called, Brian, 40-35, and it seems like this pesky Van Wert squad, lower seed once again, coming out big and going back to a regional championship.
I think a little underseeded. They've got just 1 loss on the season by 1 point against a very good team. They upset West Holmes, a number 3 team in the state. They'll get a shot at state number 1. Cincinnati, Wyoming, this team, again, looking like they are the real deal. They have a blowout victory.
Constantly in a regional semifinal or a regional championship, C.J. Hester, 27 carries, 372 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Wow, that's big time down there in the Cincinnati area. And then Taft taking down Archbishop McNicholas.
Yeah, Charles Hawkins Jr., 22 carries, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that sets up the 2 Cincinnati squads, 1 versus 2, 2 big running backs. We might have ourselves a shootout next Friday. Yeah, that's Friday. Next
State
Friday.
Final Four looks like it is shaping up for some fun. Moving on with some other scores that went down here in around North Central Ohio. In Division 6, Crestview gets knocked off 12-6, a game that really came down to the wire.
Yeah, Columbia had, I think, 90-plus yards to go late in the game, a couple big runs, and then I think a 25, 30-yard rushing touchdown with, I think, 14 seconds left. Finish it. We'll get the highlights with G and Storm later on, but a tough way to finish off the season for a very good Crestview squad. A couple injuries really hurt them as well as the season went on. But hey, another great year for the Cougars, undefeated in the regular season, Firelands Conference champions.
Quality win as well, or quality season, I should say, for Colonel Crawford, who almost got the win, went to overtime, and a little bit of controversy played out. You're going to see the rolling pictures on that as well, with Columbus Grove getting an OT touchdown when they re-ran a play in overtime.
Now, I had this game pulled up in overtime while I was down at the Danville-Lucas game, and it seemed like Crawford had them backed up on that overtime drive, and now I understand why they got up towards the goal line and were able to score, but I'll understand more once Hayden Gray gives us the moving pictures here in a bit.
And then Maria Stein, Marion Local.
There they are again.
That's what they do. They've moved to Division 6 and the multiple-time D7 champions. Looking like they might be the winners of D6 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, big night from Darren Meyer, 18 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown as Marion Local. They had a streak of quarters where they did not allow any points. Versailles kicks a field goal, and the last time that they gave up points was actually to Versailles in the regular season. I think it was something like 18 or 19 quarters without allowing points until tonight on that field goal.
Wow, what a run for them. And Allen East as well. They have a running clock at the end of their game as they take down Tri-Village.
This will be their second consecutive regional championship appearance, but now it's against the powerhouse in Marion Local, another 1 versus 2 for regional title.
All right, let's move on and check out Division 7. Our final page of the night, Warren JFK, they have looked like a juggernaut basically all season long, Trav. Shutout victory tonight.
How about this? They led 14-0 going into the fourth, and that was on 2 defensive touchdowns. They pulled away late with some rushing touchdowns. So, you know, you got to think that rushing attack is going to go against the Danville Blue Devils in a very nice defense. This could be one of those sneaky good matchups. You think Warren JFK, they're just rolling through, but then you got this Danville squad that scored 27 unanswered points in the final 7:48. It seemed like the Cubbies were rolling back to a regional championship, but G and Storm's boy, Mr. Unlimited, came back, led them 2 passing touchdowns. I'll show you those highlights coming up here in a little bit, but what a game down in the Clear Fork Valley.
I was stunned. I seen that they were up 20-0, and for Danville to pull out the L cap on them at the end, I cannot wait to see, honestly, how that all played out. Newark Catholic, they are back into the regional championship yet again. I think this is like their 4th straight season getting there, 35-7 over Waterford.
Lose to Monroeville in a state semifinal in volleyball, but hey, your football team made up for it. Miller Hutchinson, 3 total touchdowns, the quarterback for Newark Catholic, as they will go on against River, the Pilots, out of the OVAC, 42-6 winners with a big rushing attack. Those 2 teams will face, and that would probably face the winner of Warren JFK and Danville in a state semifinal in a couple of weeks.
So those are all the scores in the regions that we've been following for you throughout the playoffs here on the Friday Night Pigskin. Now it is time for the moving pictures, everybody's favorite part of the show. Well, especially because you get to hang out with cool guys like this. We've got our resident lumberjack, Hayden Gray, standing by, and we've got some bonus action. Division 2, we're going to start with the big boys. What did you see last night, hey?
Yeah, so got a chance to go over to Field, a huge matchup between Division II powers, and it was a rematch of last year's Division II regional semifinals. So let's roll the highlights and show you exactly what happened last night at Field. It was a very wintry mix, and it would start off very exciting as Big Walnut's Nate Severs would return the opening kickoff 91 yards to the house. A lot of drama, a lot of emotion goes into this game, especially with the rematch from last year. So this puts Big Walnut up 6-0 on the first play. The extra point, however, would be missed, so it would only be a 6-0 lead for Big Walnut. Then next, Massillon's first offensive play of the game intercepted. Jalen Slaughter got picked off by Teddy Dancer to give the Eagles great field position, which would then in turn give them a great opportunity. They got shut down on the drive, but Cam Gladden would come in and drill a 19-yard field goal, 9-0 Eagles, 6:27 in the first quarter. Then Wiltrell Hartson of the Tigers would respond with a 5-yard rushing touchdown. They would convert the extra point, 9-7 Big Walnut with 2:12 remaining. in the first quarter, and from there, the Tigers would really begin to get their groove going. Jalen Slaughter would drop a 45-yard dime to Braylon Tolles to take a 15-9 lead after they got the 2-point conversion following the touchdown. And then who else but Wiltrell Hartson finding the end zone again on a huge run. This would give the Tigers the lead. 17 seconds remaining in the half. It would be 21-9 going in to the break. And then opening the second half, Mr. Hartson again takes it 79 yards to the house, and it gives them their biggest lead of the night, 28-9, 8:16 in the third quarter. However, Nate Severs and the Eagles responded just 2 minutes later as Severs found the end zone on the end of this 40-yard touchdown run. They would fail the 2-point conversion, 28-15 with 6:15 left to go. So still a lot of time left to play in this one. But then Jalen Slaughter, the excellent quarterback, dropped one deep in the corner for Ardell Banks where he made the impressive catch. 35-15 Massillon, 6:14 left to play. And then Eagles running back Nate Severs would finish off the hat trick, score one more time, but the deficit would be too much for the Eagles to overcome as number 1 seeded Massillon advances with a 42-21 victory and will face the Lake Blue Streaks next week in the Division II regional final. So it was a great game that didn't disappoint yet again. Second year in a row, Big Walnut's fallen to Massillon, but it was clear. It was a very competitive game, but Massillon's deserving of that number 1 seed.
And always with the fanfare, I love how packed the stadium is over there at Arlen. Anytime that you're doing a shot and you're following a guy that's running down the sideline and you just see fan after fan after fan, a lot of orange out there. So the Tigers trying to get that first state championship that wasn't a voted one, trying to earn it for real this season. Looks like they may have the team just to do it. Well, we had another pack of Tigers here in our area, Travis, that we thought could at least have the potential to get back to a regional championship. We saw them last night in a game against Holy Name. Let's show you how this one all shook out up at Brunswick. And as mentioned, that's the top seed. That's Holy Name taking on number 5 Mansfield Senior. Second time they've met in the playoffs since 2019. TY won the first one. Opening drive of the game, Javon Williams, explosive run to the near side. He's going to go for a 50 spot. That would set up a field goal. They would take an early lead. Later on in the first quarter, after a Tiger field goal, Keontez Bradley, he's going to take the jet and he's going to take it all the way home. 87-yard house call. He was the fastest guy on the field.
Yeah, and like I said, with him, you'll see later, he got that concussion. That was a big difference because look at this, just this flat-out speed there and then his defensive ability as well. That was just phenomenal in the rain as well. Really sloppy night.
Yeah, despite the rain. Second quarter now, Duke Reese goes deep. Amar Davis, 39-yard grab and go into the end zone. That would make it 16-3. Tigers fans up on their feet, love and life. They would miss the PAT, though, and this is the most interesting call in the game in the third. Tigers go for it on 4th down in their own territory. They've allowed 3 points in 10 quarters.
Yep.
They don't get it. And ensuing Green Wave possession, Austin Wondolowski makes it a 1-score game as he dives in. It's 16-10. Green Wave starting to build some momentum. Later in the third, Williams riding that Green Wave. He gets to the outside. You ain't going to catch him 26 yards.
No, and it just seemed like the game completely flipped in that second half. After that 4th down call, momentum goes to the Green Wave, and like you said, they rode that wave to the 17-16 lead.
Last chance for the Tigers. Duke Reese on 4th down. No receivers in sight. I'm not sure who he was trying to throw that one to. So the 8-game win streak for Mansfield Senior comes to a close, 17-16. And it was definitely a tale of two halves. In this one, Mansfield had all the momentum. They looked like the better team in the first half. They do suffer that unfortunate injury to Keontez. And then in the second, maybe a couple of calls that it's easy for us to question, but it just didn't shake out quite right. I would say, though, that I think Mansfield probably had a team good enough to get into that regional championship.
Absolutely.
They just didn't make the plays necessary.
No, and Holy Name did. They made a couple huge plays there in the second half. You saw the quarterback make those big runs. That one off the side, he has the speed as well, elusiveness. The weather wasn't as good. I think that played into maybe if it's a drier night, not a lot of wind, you might see Sean Putt maybe kick a field goal late instead of them going for it on 4th and 13. But, the wind had to play. The wind and the weather played a factor in that. And even in that extra point, you and I looked at it, it maybe looked like it was good on the extra point, and I don't know, it was foggy, nonetheless,
It was foggy.
It
I replayed it in super slow-mo many times.
Yeah, we were looking over this morning.
Both referees say no instantly, but when I watched it again, now we don't have the best shot of it. I don't know, it looks pretty good to me, so they're not going to go back and overrule that thing. It doesn't really matter at this point. What does matter is it's another playoff season for Mansfield seniors, just the second time actually in program history that they've won multiple games, so they get to the third round. You just feel bad for them a little bit. You kind of your heart breaks a little on the inside because they were so dominant for the first two games, back-to-back shutouts, and looked like very similar class of defense in that first half. They lose their key strong safety. Things change in the second.
But also, Holy Name was the #1 seed for a reason.
Sure.
They made halftime adjustments, and they came out rolling and were able to make enough plays to get it done. They had one of their best wide receivers, too, made some really good plays on third down to extend some drives, and that allowed Holy Name to take the lead.
So caps off to the Tigers.
Double-digit wins. That's pretty
10
good season for
again.
Coach Chokey Bradley's squad.
All right, a team that started the day with 12 wins, West Holmes, pretty much everybody. They already had them penciled into the regional championship against Glenville, right?
Every week on the stat leaders, multiple guys. Wolf, their wide receiver. Maltrich, yes, and Sam Williams-Dixon, always top 5 in the area, passing, receiving, rushing, because they're such a balanced squad. But who are they playing? Van Wert. That team that, as a lower seed, always seems to make these upsets and make a run to the state Final Four, or as we saw against the Shelby Whippets a couple years ago, just steamrolled them on their way to a state championship. It's just one of those matchups that you kind of make you cringe, like, uh-oh, do we see an upset? Do we?
Well, I can tell you this. In the press box before the game, I got there very early. I got to talk to quite a few of the other media members that cover Van Wert. They were already penciling West Holmes into the second round. That's why they kick it off. That's why they play the games. We're just going to go right into the highlights. No need to set it up. There were too many points in this one, Trav. So we're going to start. It's already 7-zip Cougars. They're going up 14-0 on the second rushing touchdown by Aiden Pratt. 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
An elusive quarterback? Uh-oh.
West Holmes a little bit stunned, I got to say. Ensuing night's drive, Mason Wolf looking for Kyle Maltrich, and he gets picked off trying to go deep. They played one-on-one coverage basically all night on him, and it paid off. Early second, Pratt from 6 yards out now. It's 21-0 West Holmes in a deep hole. They were stunned, but they would get back into the game. Wolf's like, all right, let's try it. Let's go deep to this Maltrich kid again. 64-yard connection this time. This was early in the second. It would trim the deficit down to 21-14. West Holmes forced a 3-and-out.
There's Williams-Dixon.
Sam Williams-Dixon getting in there, and it's 21-14. They would force another 3-and-out, and you're like, okay, here comes the machine that we thought that we were going to see. Going up top again, one-on-one. It's Maltrich.
What a ball.
But it's underthrown.
Never mind.
Second pick for Wolf. He had 2 all season coming into the game. That one would be huge. We'll fast forward now, just 1 minute remaining in the first half. 9-yard touchdown run by Pratt. That's his 4th of the half. It's 28-14. I think that everybody was impressed with what we saw from this kid throughout the night. As we fast forward now, midway through the 4th, big ball to the end zone. It's kind of a crazy play. Who has it? Is it picked off? Is it a touchdown?
Mutual possession to the wide receiver in the end zone always goes to the receiver, though.
Hey, they're saying tie goes to the runner, so you see the confetti flying. West Holmes getting right back into it. This would give them their first lead of the game. Williams-Dixon into the zone. 35-34.
Oh, good. They're going to survive, right?
Fourth quarter action, but this is the play of the game. Nate Phillips breaks not one, not two. I don't know how he kept his feet, but he's going to go 43 yards into that end zone. It's 40-35. But way too much time on the clock.
Absolutely.
They gave it back to West Holmes, more than 4 minutes. Now a $1:45, trying to pick up the first down, and Nate Fair can't bring it in. They turn it over on downs. Van Wert, the 6th seed, stuns the 3rd-ranked team in the state, 40-35. They're moving on. Check out some of these numbers from Pratt. 6 total touchdowns. He accounted for all of them. 276 pass, 105 rush yards. In the first half alone, he completed 26 of 30 passes.
Where have I seen something like this before, Brian?
I feel like Van Wert was an underseeded team about 2 years ago when they went on to a state championship.
Pretty much elusive, couldn't get tackled, something like that. Yeah, maybe. just maybe, but
Big butt.
Glenville, a team, like I said, they were just in Division One a couple years ago. I guess they might have hit a couple kids in the broom closet when they counted for the OHSA, but dropped all the way down to Division 4. And yeah, we were thinking we were going to have the two former D3 squads fighting for a regional championship.
Right.
And now, well, we'll just see. Can Wert continue it, or will the Tar Blooders do what they have been doing all year?
I'll tell you this, talking to us, Aiden Pratt after the game, I loved his attitude and his moxie and his thought process on the whole thing. He was like, we loved reading the articles and hearing people say all week that we were going to lose by a couple of touchdowns. He's like, it was great. We're thinking to ourselves, we've lost one game by 1 point all year. We're a really good team, and nobody is giving us a chance. They're going to have to take that same mentality into next week.
Absolutely.
Maybe even more so. They're going to be considered
they're going to get that
greater
bulletin board
underdog.
material because, everybody up in Cleveland ain't
coming.
going to give them a chance.
Use it.
Yep.
Use it. And for West Holmes, they wrap up their season. They were the most exciting team that I
Absolutely.
had the personal privilege
Yep.
to cover this season. So I do. I want to give some hand claps out
Yep.
there to Mason Wolf. Set program records for passing yards in a season, passing touchdowns in a season. Elijah Baldrich, he had to have set the record for most tackles at West Holmes in a season.
Yeah.
That kid was unbelievable, a true spark plug. Williams Dixon, they get him
D1
back, of course.
recruit.
Maltrich, they get him back. Both of those kids, if they want to play college football, are going to at a very high level. So they'll be very, very good again. I don't know if they can be as special as they've been the last 2 years. They won 24 out of their last 25. I think it's got to be very disappointing that they had this squad, this coaching staff, and that they didn't at least get to a regional final.
Yeah, it's a tough one for such a complete team, but when you get punched in the mouth like you did against Van Wert and you can't
21-0.
recover until late, yeah, I mean, you never know. That's why you play the game. That's why you play 4 quarters, because you never know what could happen on any given night. Like you'll see in a highlight we got coming up here later on, but gotta love the playoffs at this time of year. Anything can happen.
I do. And small school playoffs are the best. So where are we going to next? All right, let's go back over to Hayden, right?
Phenom. We got our winners from last week for our final Phenoms and top play of the year.
That's right. Sorry, guys, a little out of order here. So you guys, you're a big part of the show. You know that. All year long, we put a lot on your shoulders, and for playoff time, you got to tell us, like, who's the best of the best? Like,
Absolutely.
what was the best individual performance, the best play? Here's what you thought from week number 12 of the playoffs. Let's roll.
Roll it.
All right, how about this phenomenal performance from Cameron Lohr? You see the numbers. Are they going to blow you away? No, not really, but they're still pretty darn good. What you might not note, though, Trav, up there, it doesn't say anything about beating the defending Division 6 state champions, the team that's kind of owned you in the regular season. So Cameron getting a little place of Colonel Crawford Lohr as he gets the win on the road with a performance that you can only categorize as gutsy, as big time, as game-winning, and again, hostile environment. Had to go to Carey's place, and they exorcise their demons. They take down the Devils.
You're pumped about that, aren't you, Ski?
But what was the top play of the week? There was a lot of good ones, but you, the fans, you kind of thought that Hayden Kuhn off the tip drill, taking it back. Look at this, coast to coast. Usually he's throwing touchdowns. Instead, he's picking them off. He's taking it back. He hurdled the guy. Cougars out on the charge. He would bring it back 97 yards to defeat Patrick Henry. Watch it in slow-mo. It is even better. The hand-eye coordination from this dude, Mr. Kuhn. And then he waits, Travis. He's lurking like he's out on the prowl.
He's letting 6 people get in front of him to block.
The convoy, the hurdle, into the end zone. Hayden Kuhn, the top play of the week. Congratulations to both of those winners. Awesome stuff right there.
Man, what we could have had, Crawford versus Crestview.
Well, let's show you why we didn't get it, guys. We're going to go over to the pig pen. Got the boys hanging out with some highlights. Oh, and
sorry,
some sad
guys.
faces.
I'm sorry, guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, Coos couldn't get it done, guys. So it was a rough night for me and Storm. But, hey, listen, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. We got to get this show on the road. Show the highlights. I want to get through this quick. because this is heartbreaking. But things would start off. Hayden Kuhn would hit Caden Cunningham on a dime. Nice little pitch and catch. What's going to come into play, though, is the PAT was blocked. So it's 6-0. We're going to fast forward to the second half. This is where things would get dicey. Kuhn and Barker, a miscommunication, and Marco Sergliano would snag this interception and go 99 yards. He has 43 of the total touchdowns on the season for the Raiders. They have 71, if you guys didn't know. He has 43 of them. He has 2,300 yards rushing, but the PAT's blocked. So we're still good. We're still good. We're still safe. They're still in the game, but big-time play right here when they need it. 15 seconds remaining, and the Raiders would pull off a misdirection handoff and end the Cougars' run yet again in the regional semifinal. Just because Carey was knocked out doesn't mean the Cougars can still get it done. Another L storm for the Cougs.
Yeah, man, it was rough. I mean, you got to think too. Crestview outplayed. I feel like Crestview outplayed their opponent pretty much up until those last 5 minutes, and then it all kind of fell apart for them. So I don't know. I kind of been crying a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'll reiterate what you said, Storm, but I thought for 3 quarters, Crestview, they were winning the game. After, the first touchdown, I thought the first couple possessions, their offense wasn't doing anything, and they're a run-heavy offense. Are the Raiders, Marco has 2,400 yards rushing, so when you got a guy like that can run the ball at that kind of level, it's going to be a challenge, and I thought Crestview handled it well. They're up 6-0 at half, and I thought they were going to be able to get it done, but in the crucial moments, when they needed a big play, they couldn't get that big play, and that's why the Cougars will head to another regional semifinal loss, But to see more on the region, we got more highlights over with Mr. Gray. We'll send it to you, buddy.
Thanks, G-Man. And obviously, I'm not a Colonel Crawford alum, but got to say, getting to watch this team several times this year, a little pain kind of coming with my highlights as well. But they would take on Columbus Grove over in Findlay. Let's dive in and find out exactly what happened in this matchup. And things similar to Crestview would start off well for the Eagles. Cameron Lohr, you just saw him take home the phenom for the week. He would rush it in from 4 yards out, 1:26 left in the first quarter. PAT would be good, 7-0 Eagles in what would be a huge defensive battle. But then Renner would find Reynolds for a 40-yard touchdown pass, and this was when the snow kind of began to fall and the game changed a little bit. Field conditions would get slippery, but that would tie things up. And this is a big play at the end of regulation. Parker Ketterman been getting it done all year long for the Eagles. Got a huge sack with under 35 seconds remaining to force overtime. And here's the play you've all been waiting for, the controversy in overtime. It's a backwards pass, which by rule is a fumble. And I'll touch on it in a second. I don't want to take anything away from Mr. A.J. Schaefer here, who via the next play after that would get set up for the 4-yard go-ahead rushing touchdown. Colonel Crawford would not be able to even pick up a first down on their only possession in overtime, and Columbus Grove would get the 14-7 win, and they'll take on Columbia Station, the winner over Crestview. They'll take them on next week. But some more things I've been seeing about that particular play. So by rule, it is a fumble. It's a backwards pass. Even though he bobbled it or anything, it's behind the line of scrimmage, so it's a fumble. So he recovered it, so it would be Columbus Grove ball. Now, the argument obviously is, okay, they retained the ball. Why wouldn't it become third down? It was second down when this happened. The refs discussed for a little bit, reconvened, and then decided that it would be a replay of the down.
Why?
I will get to that in a second. My initial thoughts and the initial thoughts of everyone there, all the other media outlets and certainly the crowd was mind-boggled. I know head coach Bruner, he's very animated, and I don't know if I've ever seen him more animated than that, rightfully so. Everyone was kind of just in shell shock and astounded. The next play on that replayed second down, they'd get all the way down to the 4-yard line where then Schaefer would take it in. Now, on the way home, I've seen some messages come into us that there was an inadvertent whistle.
That hurt another team a few years ago.
So by rule, they do have to replay the down, but there was no explanation of that. These officials were mic'd up just due to the venue and the level we're at, so they had the opportunity to explain that. They just said that they were going to replay the down. So not sure. I've seen a few things saying that, but that obviously was what was talked about. Regardless of what happened, it's a horrible way for any team to have to go down like that. They still had an opportunity, and they couldn't capitalize, but Colonel Crawford, their season comes to an end. Pretty magical year for them, and I think a respectable season. Columbus Grove, though, a tremendous opponent as well. They played very physical like Colonel Crawford, and they'll have their hands full with Columbia next week.
Boo, the inadvertent whistle.
That happened.
That's still a really cruddy way.
That happened in a playoff game a few years ago, Northmore Hillsdale. A fumble on a punt that the ball was rolling, referee blew it dead, replayed the down. Hillsdale, I think, took over, scored, ended up winning that game. But you can't, we were discussing this in our volleyball match, saying, hey, the best of the best referees are here because they make the best calls. I'm sorry, but you just can't. You can't do that in a game like this. In overtime, it's 7-7, a chance to go to the regional championship, and you.
So when I hear the word inadvertent, that means it's pressed up to your lips and it's accidental. It's all like I got bumped.
He got a little too excited.
What do you mean it's an inadvertent whistle? I don't understand. Well, you know one thing I do understand? That's RPO, Lucas Cub style. You want to talk about a team? They had to go to the Pennsylvania border. They had to go to the West Virginia border. What did they do as a 10 seed? They won at 2 road facilities to earn their way
And what did
into
they
the
do?
regional
They
semifinals.
RPO'd them.
And they RPO'd Danville early.
Yeah,
tonight.
It was looking like the Cubs were on their way to a rematch with Warren JFK as the 10 seed, rolling along. They did have some injuries, but hey, no, they picked each other up. This is Lucas Cubs football. But they're playing Danville, a team that scored 83 points in 2 games. Do you think they could be shut out through 4 quarters, Brian? Well, let's take a look at the highlights and we'll show you.
Sure.
Let's show you all the scoring, though, because for the brand, second quarter, 7:48 remaining. Aiden Caller, 32-yard field goal. Cubbies up 3-0. Now a minute left in the half. Andrew Smolin to Zach Deal, 9 yards. It's 10-0 Lucas at the half. Hey, great job by the Cubs, especially defensively. Third quarter now, 6:11 remaining. Andrew Smolin, he's going to find this boy Deal again. Watch the dime he drops over the secondary. Touchdown. Lucas leads 17-0 midway through the third. And yeah, he almost got hurt by his own teammate. Then Aiden Culler from 41 yards out. That's good from 61 yards out. It's 20-0. You're thinking, hey, they're rolling along with this. But here comes the Blue Devils. Weckesser with the touchdown pass. And then a little trickery. Why do I show kickoffs? Because of this. Right through the 5-hole. Danville will recover with 7:45 left. A little bit of life.
Oh, boy.
And then they're going to take advantage a couple plays later. Weckesser back to pass, and he's going to find his favorite target after scrambling. Caden Colopy behind the defense. He goes in. Extra point, no good. It's 20-12. Later, after a punt, it's 4th down. Now, Mr. Unlimited, Max Payne back there, throws it to Weckesser. They needed 14. They got 17. First down. Drive continues. Now with 1:23 left, Mr. Unlimited finds Weckesser, finds Kalapi for 7 yards. It's 20-18. They need the 2-point conversion to tie it, Brian. And does this look a little familiar though? Throwback pass.
Oh, they stole it from Spittler!
Tie game at 20. Lucas has a chance, though. 4th and 1, stuffed in the backfield. Danville's got a chance. 47 seconds left. We go down to 23 seconds left. Payne, scrambling. He's going to let it loose. No! And Weckesser's open! No! Touchdown, Danville! It's 27-20 with 13 seconds left. Last chance for Lucas. The double pass. Nobody's open, though, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds. Zeros on the clock. Danville from 20 points down with 7 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game. Come back and win, and they will play for a regional championship. What just happened? What just happened?
Now, the rumor was floating around that we had a couple of reporters that went over to Lucas. They got the playbook, and they handed it off to Danville in that 4th quarter, and everything changed from there. They saw the 2 plays that they run. Could it be, or could it be?
Well, the fact that they put Max Payne back there at quarterback, that last touchdown, he threw that on the run.
Bruh, all jokes aside.
That was phenomenal.
They put Mr. Unlimited, I'm sure he hates that. They put Max Payne in the backfield, and he did video game-like stuff. He threw it to the actual quarterback.
Yeah.
On multiple occasions.
He did that against Hillsdale to win it, too, last week. And he didn't jump pass for him, too. But watch, I mean, he's scrambling first, and then he finds his wide receiver down there, jump pass.
That's unbelievable.
It's another jump pass.
Oh, I'm sick for the Lucas Cubs, seeing that there's only 7 minutes on the clock and you're up 20 and you allow 27 points.
But
like, my
it's a
belly
Danville
hurts.
squad that
But
you just can't keep them.
But I want to smile for the Blue Devils. It's like my body, I can't decide what do I do. Just understand that football is football, and playoff football is crazy, especially in the elements at the end of the game.
Absolutely.
Bravo for all those big plays down the end at the stretch.
They needed everything to go right, and it did for them.
That was cool.
Yeah, and it's going to be JFK versus Danville next week for a regional championship. I think we'll be there, right? We got to be there for that. Last team in North Central Ohio. You got to think maybe if nobody's around, Massillon, Akron area, Massillon area, somewhere around there. That's about midway between the two. That'd be a nice place for a regional championship. But you know, the whole city of Danville, KMAC country. The lone team left, KMAC.
What's that face?
KMAC.
It's not like I could be counting them out or anything.
Just saying.
We love the KMAC here.
But hey, congrats to Danville. Congrats to Lucas, too. The 10 seed, making it to the regional.
Dude.
Not only that, but steamrolling their way through. Logan Toms, over 400 yards rushing in 2 games, 5 touchdowns. I mean, a phenomenal effort. They lost a couple players due to injury early in that regional quarterfinal game, but they still recovered. You know, you think if they're full strength, that probably does not happen. The same thing kind of like with Mansfield Senior. You just get those tough breaks, but they still overcame that, and through 3 1/4 quarters, nearly had it. But Danville, you know, they just find a way. Once again, you know, Hillsdale came back, laid on them, thought Hillsdale had all the momentum, but then they get a couple stops, they score. They're just battle-tested, and they're ready for Warren JFK. And like I said, JFK, they were stopped offensively through 3 quarters in their game against Southern. You never know. That's why they play the game.
That's why they do it. And we had some awesome games. Obviously, all the highlights that you've seen, we have the full live streams available right now on the OH Report on our YouTube channels as well as our Facebook. So, hey, go back, watch some of these, and just see how they completely played out. My game was crazy. Your game was even more wild.
3 games
Obviously,
came down to the last second. All of them. All 4 games down to the last seconds. I mean,
awesome stuff.
And you can watch it always free. That's the best thing.
Hey, I do want to give a quick shout out to the Lima Shawnee boys soccer team.
Did they pull it off?
They got the big chip today, baby. So, hey, I can't tell you how many requests blowing us up asking, can you please come cover us at the state championship? Unfortunately, you've seen it. We've got football everywhere. We wanted to, but we're very impressed.
You and I have been all over the state today.
And looking forward to maybe talking to those boys. We'll see if we can get them on the podcast for sure, maybe on Monday. Open invite. I'll hit up their coach
and then the Copley girls, who we saw against Lexington, thought they were a complete team. They won 1-0 in their state championship, too. Congratulations to them completing an unbeaten season. Those 2 teams, Monroeville, state runners-up. A lot of great accolades from teams that we've covered right here on the OH Report. Congratulations to everybody on great seasons. Mansfield Senior as well. Crestview, Colonel Crawford, Lucas. You know, Danville's moving on. West Holmes. Everybody.
Take a bow, guys. Take a bow. All right.
Take a bow, G and Storm as well. Their final Friday Night Pigskin.
Yeah. One more look over at the pig pen. A little dab bow. All right. We just got one more thing left to do here on the show. We've seen so many great plays all season long on the pigskin.
Absolutely.
And we just want to show you all the best top plays according to you, the fans. We pick the nominees. You decide what's the best of the best. Here's the 10 best regular season plays that we had as we sign out here, week 13, on another phenomenal season of the pigskin. You guys are the best. You fans out there in OH Report land, we love y'all.
We'll see you next year. Well, for football, but we'll be back tomorrow for basketball.
We'll be back tomorrow.
We got soccer tomorrow. We got soccer in 5 hours, actually. Yeah. Also, the best of the best soccer players in North Central Ohio tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't snow.
Quick plug, All-Star Soccer tomorrow, 11.
Right.
1.
Unlimited
stuff. But check these out. Got some cool plays. Run them. Our top play nominees, we had quite a few of them, but when it was all said and done, you guys thought that this play was the best of the best, and I agree. It's like wizardry here. How did Hunter Folk basically take this right through the head of the defender.
It's got to be that spot in the end zone. I said this last week. That's where Jay Melchiori made that one-handed catch against Northmore. Well, Hunter Falk, it went through the body of that Elgin defender, and he still had the vision, the sight to make the catch and get the tutty.
Could it be not just one helping of Jake, but two from Haverstock? And look at this throw. You have got to be kidding me, folks. Right on the money, into coverage. Haverstock to Max Vesper, 36 yards, and that's with under a minute to go in crunch time. We call it money time on the OH report. Certainly, dimes were falling out of the sky right into the breadbasket. Huge pitch and catch for Jake and company. Congratulations to that QB sweeping this week's awards. But how about the top play of the week? Uh-oh, it's a freshman. Gunnar Lacey, you got to see this kid in action tonight, as we're going to see against Buckeye Valley. This ball's going to go up in the end zone. Gunner's going to come down with it to end the drive.
Is there a better name than Gunnar Lacey? I mean, there are a lot of great names in this area for football, and Gunnar Lacey, the pick in the end zone, sealing it.
You people have noticed that Ohio decided that Jesse Ring's 30-yard catch. He got blasted. Did he even need a helmet for this one? Nope. Lid not necessary. Big time catch, taking the contact.
I can understand why he got the win for this, because just the way he was able to take that contact and still hold on to the ball for the big catch.
Check it out. It's Caden Van Tilburg. You can't go much farther than this 99-yard house call, taking it all the way to the crib for a huge Ashland score. That's why he gets the top play of the week to go along with his teammate as your Friday night phenom. So big congratulations to the entire community of Ashland for getting out, showing some support, weighing in with the votes. And it wasn't even close for the top play. 52% of you out there thought that this was the best that you saw. Check out this big throw, and then Austin, neater core of carry, comes down in the corner of the end zone. The only touchdown of the game to beat Colonel Crawford. That was a battle of undefeated teams, so obviously this one carries a little bit more weight than your standard touchdown.
I see what you did there. Carries a little more weight for Carey. Well done, Brian. Yeah, Carey, I mean, are they ever going to lose again? I have no idea. I don't think so.
It's a sophomore, Braxton Prosser, and look at this. Shake, bake, wiggle, rattle, roll, and take it into the zone, all the way with a dive, too, against Ontario. This was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's electric, man. He's been one of the better players in the area here down the stretch, and he's behind that offensive line. He's actually been one of the best players, one of the main reasons that Galleon's gotten back into climbing up those league standings and trying to vie for a playoff spot as well.
But the top play of the week actually going to be coming from the same exact game, but on the other side. Check this out. Is it going to go through? Just barely. Braden Chester, a clutch 27-yard field goal that looked like it was going to be the game winner, if not for a crazy finale to that game just last week up in Attica. Hey, it's that season. We like a little bit of trickery in the month of October, and that's what the Crestview Cougars would do. We've got Barker to Bailey, the fake punt extraordinaire, touchdown, reaching in there. And oh, by the way, it was a rivalry matchup on the road at Norwalk St. Paul. Cougars needed this one big time to defend their Firelands Conference crown. And just look at the play call, the design, gutsy right there.
Yeah, that's a great job. Barker, obviously known around the area as being one of the best linebackers. For him to be able to throw that kind of a pass on a special teams play, it's fantastic. So, hey, kudos, man. Nice job, Cougars, getting the win, beating the Flyers, man. I know that makes a lot of people in the Firelands pretty happy.
This is the upset, because we have the Centerburg Trojans out there, and no, they would not win, because what's better than one quarterback? How about three quarterbacks all hooking up in one play? Galleons, Kent, to Prosser for an 18-yard touchdown. 38% of you out there thought that this was the best play that you saw all week long. Unbelievable, and it was an awesome play. It's a dime right there, an even better catch. Three quarterbacks on the roster all combining to make some magic. Congratulations to each of those performers for making it happen in week 9.